for?
Who rooting for?
The commercial breaks.
The commercial breaks, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I got to say, I mean, I vote for Trump. I'm going to vote for him, but he's not the most eloquent speaker. And the criticism he has a limited vocabulary is pretty accurate. He uses great a lot. And
But
Well, he's a salesman.
Yeah.
you can have all the limited vocabulary as you want, as long as I'm paying $1 something a gallon for gasoline.
That's why
I don't care how he speaks. I don't care if he sounds eloquent like the founding fathers. He speaks like I speak, and I think I understand him better because he seems more truthful and more honest than the average politician.
Well, after you get past the 2 or 3 minutes of giggling from Kamala Harris, you forgot what that question was asked. So, oh, okay. What was the question?
I don't think she's going to come out giggling, and I think she's going to come out. Her strategy is going to be coming out as prosecutor because she's going to want to act like she's tough. Yeah. I think. Well, I mean, let's look at the strategies. There's going to be 2 different strategies. What's Kamala going to come out as? I think James Carville said on Sunday or Monday, he came out saying Trump fell for the bait. He fell for the bait that the trap that the Democratic Party set for him to do this on an ABC ABC network, right? Have the mics turned off. They always do this. I don't know why Trump does this, but he does. I mean, the Republican Party is
okay. But if you remember, they said the same thing with Joe Biden.
Oh,
he was giving in to all their rules, and Joe Biden was going to wipe the floor with them.
No, I'm not saying that. But the problem is, I don't think Trump's walking into a thing. I'm just saying what James Carville said. And I think James Carville is like, I think what he's trying to do is they're trying to lower the expectations of this debate.
Well, definitely. Carville is, I don't want to go on what I really think of that man. I mean, he's like, he's a bottom feeder. Yeah, he's a very good political strategist. He has no morality. He has no sense of ethics.
And you have to.
Yeah, that's what he's going to be.
That's the best. He's the best person. You want somebody who's going to do the things that you don't want to do.
But they don't listen to him anymore. The Democratic Party doesn't really listen to him
because it's the millennials that are running the Democrat Party. Yeah. We still got some old people running. Or the Republicans still have some older people running their party.
Right.
And that's yeah, when I was younger, I always worried. We're talking about earlier before we mentioned some of the comments we got, and we might bring them up, but we're talking about basically it leads up to the idea of a generation gap. And one person basically said we didn't really have a right to weigh in because we're old white guys. And, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, but I sort of didn't want to bring up the comments.
Yeah, but I think that would be but I think that did bring into the thing as you brought up about the generational difference. And there is a generational difference that's can't be overlooked. I mean, their way of communication is vastly different from you and I's, and Carville's even older than us. Carville's even older than us. So I mean, he's probably close to.
But he's always
70.
Think about it. Man always looked old.
Yeah, he did.
No, seriously.
No, when he was in his 20s, 30s.
He had that look like.
He looked like an alien back then.
The Family Guy, the news that wants to get the newspaper voice. He's always looked like that.
Yeah, I always said about him that to me he looks like a gargoyle.
But I mean, but still a very smart guy.
Very smart,
calculating, and he knows.
His wife is Republican. His wife is Republican.
Yeah, but you haven't heard from her for a while.
Yeah,
she's fallen out of favor.
Yeah, I'm just making sure our audio is good. It's good. Because it's getting really hot in my ears. So no, I think that that begs the question. I always wonder how committed they could be to their parties, the political affiliations, and to their ideologies to be married and together. I mean, that must make for some interesting long stretches of.
A good friend of ours, who was a prominent lawyer in the city of Flint, always bragged. He was the liberal, and his wife was hardcore Republican. And me and John said, "Don't let him talk. Don't worry about what he says. They're going to cancel one another out."
Right. Yeah, let him go for it.
But they had a great marriage. She was the business, and he was like the butterfly, and she was the one that
handles everything
straight.
And that's kind of how it really works in life. The Conservative Party always keeps everything straight. And the Democratic Party always comes out and promises everything to everybody, but doesn't deliver. That's the biggest problem.
Well, what it is they promise and they don't deliver, and then we let them. They say the same thing. I mean, I've been around for a while enough to know that when political season comes around, they're out there saying what they're going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But they've already been there. They haven't done it yet. Why? What makes you think that they're going to do it after you vote for them?
And no one has an answer to that question. When you ask a person that question, what have they done for you? And the question that Trump asked, I think Trump asked this question great in 2016, and he asked it again this year. Tell me in the last 4 years, is your life any better? And guess what? I don't think anybody to the T could actually say, yeah, my life is a lot better. If you're a normal, everyday person working a 40-hour week, you cannot say, honestly, if you're a blue collar person in this country, you can't say your life is better. You really can't.
I don't mean, and especially the current era with the runaway inflation and the kind of unease and stuff like that. I mean, we have people who don't have a foreign policy that I can see. It's discernible. I really don't. And everything's up in the air. I mean, I'm not.
They don't have any kind of policy.
No, they don't.
No, it's not just foreign policy. It's just they don't have any kind of policy except for some reason that they want to let in illegals, and well, we could probably figure out what it is, but it's going to be detriment to them eventually too. I mean, because the glass can only be so full.
Yeah. Another thing is eventually some of the people are going to be coming in who are even illegal might be more come on board for the other political agendas they have.
They're going to take political office, and they may change the country into something that it could be better, but it could be worse.
I look at it this way. I mean, I know a lot
I
of.
haven't seen it turn much better lately.
No, I don't.
No, but what I'm saying is these people that they're letting in, eventually they're going to be
paying the taxes.
Right.
no, they're going to be the populists. They're going to be the ones that are controlling who's going to be in office and who are you going to vote for. I'm going to vote for one of my own, and that's what's going to happen with them.
Right.
We're going to get them voted, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that's the potential of what could happen. And it's like the Pandora's box. They opened it.
They always said this in World War II. It was a great saying that one of the great admirals said. He said, "You're never going to take a country. You're never going to take America from without. You'll take America from within."
Okay.
And guess what? That's exactly what's happening. And that's always been happening. When you've looked at everything going in from the beginning, people have tried to destroy the inner core of the country. And a lot of people sitting there saying, this or this or this. I don't like this about the country. I don't like that about the country. You don't understand how bad my life is. All this sort of stuff. The other day I was watching. I didn't comment on this yesterday's show about the Tyreek Hill thing that happened on Monday. The Miami Dolphins wide receiver. Did you hear about that? He was arrested right outside he was driving in. He was driving his beautiful sports car and passed up four guys that were on bikes. Officers on bikes stopped him. They went up. He rolled down his window. They knocked on the window. He handed his stuff out. Said, "Here, just do this. Fill out my ticket. I'm running late to the game." Stuff like that. Then he rolled up his window. The guy started knocking on his window. He rolled down his window. The guy turned around, pulled him out, and then they detained him. Right? They didn't arrest him, but because he was on the outside, his agent came out. The security came out, and they put him on the ground. And he told the officers he had just got done having knee surgery, but he ran an 80-yard. He ran for an 80-yard touchdown run in the game, and then put his hands behind his back. And then yesterday, CNN had a report with him, and they were talking about, then they started talking about this guy, and what they were talking about this guy was saying, he's like, I want to bring everyone together. My mom never did this. And in the whole thing, he started saying, I was cooperative, I was a nice guy, all this sort of stuff. So I really kept quiet because I wanted to see what came out, like what you said, wait till the news press, just wait till the real spots come out. So I got to see the body camera. That's all over the YouTube. You got to watch the body camera. It's a whole different story than what he told at the press conference. It's a whole different story than the coach told, than the agent told, than ABC News told, and everybody else told. Whole different story. But they did put the guy on, they put the officer who arrested him or detained him on administrative leave because he's in Miami. But I think it was more to calm the situation down because he was telling the guy in the truck.
So what you're saying is that he wasn't truthful in what he was saying that he did. What kind of happened, like the way that he said it happened. His
recollection and the truth was a little bit farther from
vastly different.
Vastly different.
But I mean, okay, so he was pulled over for a traffic infraction. I mean, when you weigh, if you're a police officer, you walked up to the car and you see who it was.
Wouldn't you weigh it?
When you
Go.
weigh that your options, is it worth it to get in a tussle with somebody who may have made a
Since you're on body cam and everything.
stop at a stoplight or something?
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was going fast. I don't know if
But
he
I'm
was
saying,
swerving or
was it
what.
worth it? Obviously not.
I don't
And
think.
I think that's where police officers are going to start thinking. I'm not going to pull him. Well, no, he's a basketball player. He's a football player. I'm not going to pull him over.
So that means that if I can run, which I can't because we're old men like this, point out. But since we could run an 80-yard football touchdown, then we should be
He
able
has
to.
celebrity. You don't. If
Right.
somebody pulls you over, who's
Go ahead,
going to
pay
hear
the
about
ticket.
you? Your,
No one. We just
your
pay the
family.
ticket. We just pay the ticket.
Right.
You know,
But him,
a year ago, I was driving on the road. I was driving 15, 20 miles per hour. I got stopped by a state cop.
Yeah.
Guess what? I just stayed there, put my thing down, rolled the window down. The guy came up, told me I was going so fast. I said, listen, that's where my registration is and my, stuff like that. I need to reach over and get it. I reached over, grabbed it, handed it to him because it's always in the packet, handed it to him. He ran back, came back, gave me a ticket to the policeman's ball. I didn't intend the ball, but I got to pay for it. And it went right to my insurance and it went right to $174 later. I walked away from it. I didn't even want to fight it. I just rolled in the check. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. I really don't. Yes, I understand the celebrity. You would do it. You could flash the thing. But the question is this, is that when we were younger, you always had that respect of yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever came into it. Now you got people who are like, yeah, just do this and run this through. And that's what we're going into. And the people are coming into the country right now. They have no respect for the laws that we have, that we've had growing up in our culture that we were growing up into. Because we've been told that the cultures we grew up in, they were the worst cultures you ever want to be part of.
Right.
Well,
That's
okay,
kind of the hard
but
part.
when John, because me and John are a little bit older than you,
Mhm.
police officers were part of the community. They were friends and family, and they weren't a protective species like they are now.
Right.
You know what I mean? If same thing, if everybody knew who the police officers were in the community, it's
Right.
not like now. We didn't have as many police. I don't think we did. Did we?
Actually, we had more police in Flint, but I mean,
But they were from Flint.
They were from
the
Flint.
community. Now we got police officers who are driving from all over the state to be police officers in the city of Flint.
Because
another thing is when the state patrol started, state police started patrolling Flint more. There was 2 or 3 gunned down. They had shot people because what it was, they had people from outside the city who heard terrible stories about the city and were like terrorized.
Right.
They're terrified and they overreacted. They shot people, and luckily I think they avoided most of the major lawsuits over. But what it was, you had people who were outside the city, didn't know how to deal with the urban setting, overreacting to situations that if somebody who was born and more familiar with the internal culture of the city would avoid it. And I've had friends who worked on the police department. They said they were chuckling about how so scared these people were because they heard all these horrible stories about Flint. Flint's not like people you can walk down the streets most of the time and not get shot. Okay, they want to draw up this thing, you're going to get shot in random drive. It's not the case, and that's what these young guys coming in with the state troopers. Everybody's gunning for them or gunning for everybody else, and that's not the case. It's not. The people who kill people here in Flint are people involved in the drug trade. They know each other. They got beefs with each other. That's what it is.
Right.
It's not like random violence. No, it's not.
as long as you stay away from it, you're good.
Yeah, if you're not buying stuff or selling stuff, or they think you bought something, you owe them money. You're not. You're going to walk right past them. They're going to ignore you for the most part.
But I worked in Waterford at a drug and alcohol facility where people getting out of prison had to come through. They had to do our program before they could hit the streets. It was part of the parole. And, downtime or whatever, sitting and talking to them. 9 times out of 10, anything that they were involved in, it was in their little group. It wasn't like an outside stranger that like turned them in or shot them or they shot. It was their group. Like John was saying that you're not going to get shot in the city of Flint if you're not in one of those groups.
It's like likelihood. I mean, I've heard of 2 murders that were highlighted, and they're heavily highlighted, because of the extremeness of that, and because they were so an anomaly. One older man was murdered in his house, But then again, it was people he associated with, they suspect, but they couldn't pin it, they couldn't nail it down on him. So, I mean, but it is, it's basically, you are known by the company you keep. And if you got people around your shady deals and know to do violence or quick to do violence or willing to do violence, you're probably not in good company. I mean, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I mean, there's some people I had to sympathize with. When they got older, they started getting more aggressive, more violent. I couldn't be around that. So I just, okay, I'm not being around you no more. No, I'm not going to, I don't want to get shot. I don't want you guys overreact to things, I mean, you take every offense so, heavily, and it's just ridiculous. They create their own problems. A lot of people create their own problems. That can't be overlooked.
It's true. Well, let's go back to your subject you started with. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go over. Strategies tonight. I think Kamala will come out. What do you think she's going to come out as? Do you think she's going to come out as the Joy Boy Joyful, or do you think she's going to come out as prosecutor?
Well, I think she's going to come out and be calm and well scripted, but eventually, and it's going to be boring because Trump's not going to. He's not going to go after her. Why should he?
Well, it's not his. It's not his debate to lose.
No. Why would you screw it up? Let her talk.
That's the best approach. I think that's the best approach. Is basically, see, like I said, I don't think that I don't know what the purpose of debates are actually, because
they're not debates. They don't call it debate. It's a television appearance.
Yeah, so that's what it is. But they call it debates.
There's no debate because what
would be cool to do a Lincoln Douglas debate.
You pick a topic and you pick a side and you explain why your side's better and try to get the other side to agree, or at least. Yeah.
I just don't see that. Like I said, I think they're kind of pointless, quite frankly.
I mean, why even have them?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, they're not.
We got ABC tonight. That's going to be sitting there doing all the gotcha questions.
I mean, are you going to? I'm going to go.
I actually going to watch. I actually am going to watch it.
I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to watch the best parts afterwards, just like I do football games.
That's what the beauty part of. I mean, I've been at football games for like high school and college. It's great to be there, but I can understand why people really like watching it at home.
I don't think the average person is going to watch it.
I don't either.
And they're going to still tout the numbers when, like somebody was saying today, that they can't count the numbers on the internet. How many times it's going to be? Because a lot of people are doing what we're doing, and they're going to watch it. And they're going to react to it as it's happening in real time. How many people are going to be doing it? A lot?
Right. I think, here's the deal. I don't think Kamala's got to go against, here's what Kamala has to do. If she has anything, she's got to go against herself, because didn't she say, hasn't she said all for the last 3.5 years, I'm the last person in the room with Joe to when he makes the decisions. And then we're this close.
But I think that's a done deal. Everybody knows. I mean,
no, but I mean, but
he can bring it up.
I was he bring it up, but I mean, but what can you do? I mean, or one time you're saying I'm that person, and then you walk in the room going, well, no, I'm not that person. So what person are you? The person 2019 saying I'm going to ban fracking, or the person 2024 saying I'm not going to ban fracking? Or what? I mean, who are you going to be?
I know I've seen the same commercial that you must have seen on the internet, where they had her talking to herself, her young self talking to her old self.
I didn't say a commercial, but yeah.
But what I mean is what she was saying in the past,
right? And
then they would show what she's saying now.
Yeah, and
it did exactly what you said. It just showed her flip flop. But for the people that are going to vote for it, they don't care. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't see a change in minds of anybody.
No, and just like the people are going to vote for Trump. It doesn't.
So why are they even doing this?
Because the old school media thinks they have to. The what's his name? The chalkboard guy who's always
Carl
Rove, and who's a goldenrod, or what's his Axelrod. Those types think that it's still needed.
Van Jones.
I mean, if they wanted to really do it, they should do it on X.
Oh, they should.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I mean, I just like I said, I never said that.
Or an X, like, or do it on Facebook, or on one of the that they can agree on, both of them. It's a platform.
Do it on Truth.
Yeah, what?
Do it on Truth, the social media.
No, I don't like Truth.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but that'd be.
But yeah, no, but
do it on Trump's.
But what I'm saying is, it should be on the internet. It shouldn't be on TV. Nobody watches TV, and besides, their TVs, you're watching it through the internet anyway. So really, it is on the internet.
That's like the thing is that's another thing is it seems like that's an old model set up by when we had just like 3 or 4 networks, right?
Right.
And now they're in competition with what we're doing here. Okay, we can if we have the clout and we've actually done this, for when it was about Flint Talk and Flint Talk Radio. We've been part of the mayoral debates and stuff.
Yeah, they came to us.
They came to us and
they asked us to put it on the internet for them.
Nice.
So I mean, that way, that's local elections. I think that's probably more effective. I mean, I just don't see how somebody doing on the stage the thing event is going to change any minds. I think it's a waste of time. I always have thought they're a waste of time.
All it is for CNN, Fox News, or
ABC,
whatever,
NBC, CBS.
to have something to talk about.
Because I think our approach, we used to bring in anybody who can. We didn't take money for it because we said that we wanted to be fair and balanced. And we brought anybody in. We had Mr. Moss typically sit down and interview all these mayoral candidates. Or one time we actually staged an event where we actually talked to them. Me and Larry Crescetti sat down with the candidates and we recorded that and put that up. And we just asked the same questions. We gave them
the questions we're going to ask them because it's their time to shine.
Right.
And
We could do that. That'd be fun.
That's definitely could do that. So
that was the best, anyways, because what it was is, we had this list, but the list eventually just went over there and they just started talking and it was an interview. It was nice.
Why can't you just have 2 people sit across the table from each other and just talk?
Because they both got handlers. Even Trump has handlers.
I know, but I mean, at one time, wouldn't that be nice to actually be able to see 2 people, forget all the bullshit, forget all the different handlers,
It's like the
and
movie
talk
that
about
I
it?
brought up last night, Dave.
Yeah,
Like Dave.
right.
But it can never be like that because you got too many people with too much money. This is your right and left limits. You can do whatever you want in between that, but that's it.
Well, you do realize, you remember what happened with the Biden one, right? Did you hear what happened at the back part of it?
The what?
What's happening behind the scenes at the Biden campaign, at the Biden debate?
No.
All right. So Joe Biden was in the back telling these multi-million-dollar sponsors and everything.
Mhm.
Joe's going to come out today. He's going to look really great. He's all set up. He's all ready to go. We got him all prepped, everything. And she was in the back trying to sell Joe to people to write checks, everything. And he came
Before
out.
it came out.
and then-
She got her money up front.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he comes out there. The only first things that she could say to him was, Joe, you answered all the
Oh, yeah,
questions.
that
I
was
sat there
horrible.
thinking, oh my God, are we back? Can you guys, is this what we're looking
here's
at?
your participation ribbon.
That's exactly what I felt
That
like.
was sad.
Yeah, it was. And it's,
You know, I may not like the guy that much, but here's the thing that I felt bad for him that night.
But I did adult psych for 8 years. And I did and for 5 years of it was geriatric psych. And I dealt with it. That's sad. I could tell that he had dementia.
But how long do they know?
Like I said in a previous
You think?
show.
oh yeah.
But the rest of us didn't know because he had the COVID time to hide.
And then they had him saying, oh, he's doing this. And then, oh, okay, I only take one. And then he had, like, here's the guy I'm going to take the questions from and stuff like that. I feel bad for him. I honestly, looking back at it, I feel bad. And I feel bad I feel bad how they got rid of him at the party. The Democratic Party got rid of him. I mean, he was one of the guys at one time. I may not agree with his politics. I may not agree with how he did things. I really don't. But come on, you got to respect the guy's age and the way they treated him walking out the door. I mean, you might as well push Nancy Pelosi out that way.
Respect him as a human being.
Right. Respect him as a human being.
Not
as a human, not as a
his
politician.
record, no.
No, I don't respect his.
No.
No.
But as a human being who has rights and dignity.
His own party is that's the problem with I've met with the Democratic Party though. That's I've always seen that they'll eat their own. They're vicious. They're like
even the Republican Party here in Flint.
oh yeah,
they're vicious and they have their little clique and they don't want people in it.
Another thing is that the Republican Party here in Flint doesn't want to take any measures to put themselves out there. They always try. There's a content with being this.
Why don't they ever want to win?
Oh, their big thing is I call it the Lincoln Log Dinner.
Yeah,
that's the thing that they look forward to every year is the Lincoln Dinner. That's all they got here in the city of Flint.
And there's a professor at U of M.
What's the Lincoln Dinner?
It's their big
This
gala.
What's in it? What month is it? It's in the wintertime, isn't it?
I don't know. It's in the spring.
Okay, spring. Okay.
But they have a dinner that they have all these speakers and different things come and talk. And then they're all most of them are blue hairs anyways, for the most part.
Again, 80s, 70s, 80s, and older. Well, but there was a professor at U of M who was actually the head of the Republican Party in the Genesee County for 17, 18, 20 years. He's since been deceased. That was Bruce Rubenstein. Okay, Bruce Rubenstein. And he was the only acknowledged Republican on campus for like several years, I guess, before I got there. He'd been up there quite a long time. But he just, everybody was content with the way he ran things, and they didn't do any major, back then it was before the internet too, so maybe he didn't have the opportunity, so I can't, I don't want to talk ill of the dead, so, but I mean, he just didn't see the opportunities, and maybe he was just pressed with all his other, other obligations, but yeah, the Republican Party, I've dealt with them, and I just,
No,
I don't care to deal with them.
we've had better luck with Democrat Party here in Flint.
Yeah,
Especially coming through here when, through the different, like Flint, when it was Flint Talk and Flint Talk Radio.
Yeah, there definitely we're a small town operation, and we're trying to make ends meet and stuff just to keep things going. And they're the first one to bring up, I know I can't give you much, but here's so much. And
we got more money for them. We didn't get
nothing
but a hard time from Republicans.
They want us to do a lot of stuff.
Oh my God, bend over back.
They want us to travel for them, which means added costs, and they want us to, and they never talk about money. And when you do, you never hear back from them again. It's happened several times.
And recently,
yeah.
With
another candidate, yeah.
No, with I don't want to say who it was,
right.
but a Republican group wanted to come in and do an interview, and when we mentioned money, because they wanted us to come to them, and John mentioned money, and oh my God, it was like, get away from me, Satan.
Yeah, it's like,
seriously.
Yeah, serious. That's how I say. I mean, they always are the ones that say no such thing. They ain't no such thing as a free lunch. That's exactly what they expect and more. They want you to actually, not only want a free lunch, they want you to bring it to them on a silver tray, put the apron on it, put the napkin over them, and then feed it to them. That's what they want. I'm not exaggerating. They want a lot, and they don't want to give anything.
No, as far as Genesee County, I think the Democrats do a better job than the Republicans.
Well, the Republicans, you have a hard time getting them to realize that when we first started, it was almost 20 years ago. We were doing something totally different, and they were so adverse to this. But the Democrats were right on it. Look at Obama; he used the internet to his advantage.
We had you remember Walling?
Yeah,
he was in here twice.
We had three Supreme Court justices of the state of Michigan come in here before.
So what setting Supreme Court justices because they knew what we had,
right?
And they used it as a vehicle, but we didn't care. I mean,
I don't mind what party you're from, as long as you're working for the people that you represent.
Everybody we had has been nice.
And the problem is I agree with you. If you don't want to pay for it and you want it for your lunch, then that's how you're going to be the rest of your time. Honestly, it actually represents who you're going to be. If you're not willing to help other people and get it up in what you're doing, you're going to be that way all the time.
Right.
You're all about who you are.
But at the county level, I don't have any problems with the Democrats.
I don't either. They've always been, they've actually invited us. Man, we have been invited by when we went to the local union hall, a couple of them, cover events, accommodating.
Yeah.
They went out of their way to
We
make sure
covered
we're
more
set up.
Democratic events than we have.
I have no problem. I have no problem covering.
Especially like
anything
we
that
mentioned,
I
John
know.
Gleason is one of our favorites.
Yeah,
I mean, although when he's telling stories, you're not going to get a word in edgewise. You got to let him speak until he takes a breath, and then you might be able to say something.
By the way, put somebody out there. If you're friends with John Gleason, can you extend, tell him to get hold of us. We'd love to have him come in and talk about anything he wants to, because he'd be a wealth of knowledge about the political scene here in Michigan, Genesee County in particular. I mean, the thing is, he actually did ruffle the feathers on both sides. He was kind of a thorn in the sides.
I think that's what got him put out of office,
Yeah.
because he ruffled a couple of feathers that didn't want to be ruffled. So they found something to.
And that's it right there.
Yeah.
Everybody finds something about somebody. Everyone's got something in the skeleton.
Yeah, when you're in the know, when you've got the strings and you can pull them, you can do what you want.
That's
and
the
that's
stupid
where
thing.
It sucks. That even in our political parties, we've got people that run them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically what you usually have is people gradually take over a party, or like maybe a location. They'll take over the party there, and they become basically the kingpin, and everything revolves around them. And I've seen that in the Democratic Party, I've seen that in the Republican Party. They're unshakable because everybody fears the new people coming in want to be involved. They're like fearful of broaching that because that's their territory. And so you have to give respect, but then there's so much resistance to change, they don't move the ball forward anywhere, on that. So that's what it is. I've seen it so many times, and especially amongst the GOP here.
But I mean, whenever, and I'm sure it was with you, just because the military, I think it makes you think like that. Not that they're trying to make you be conservative, but most people in the military are conservative. And that came out with all those values, and soon figured out the first election, if I was going to vote Republican, I was going to vote for anybody. So that's when I became more of an independent moderate over the years. And I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a moderate, independent, but the state of Michigan doesn't recognize independence.
And another thing is too, is like I post stuff online a lot, and I'll post something and I'll get blasted for being a left wing, and then another place I'm a right wing nut job. I'm a libertarian, so I'm all over the place.
He's a libertarian and I'm moderate.
I'm more of the moderate. I will stick straight down the middle. I will look. If you look at my Facebook posting, you'll probably think, "Oh my God, this guy hates me." The only thing that drove me crazy was people who are just full of crap, and you can read through it. You know what I'm saying? Or people who play the victim game, and it's like, okay, I don't like that. Everybody we wake up in the morning, you're born in this world. Some are born in poverty. A lot of us are born in poverty, and we have to work our ways up. We have to. A book is a book is there to learn. We all learn how to do stuff, right? You have that choice. You have that choice to do chores. You have that choice to work hard. And you have the choice to do this. You make choices. Your life is worth making choices. Now, some of us have been guided by parents, that would kick our rear end if we did this or did that, right? I'm just being honest. But growing up, I've always pulled it up straight down the middle. And we talked about this yesterday. Somebody brought this up when they heard it. They called me yesterday and talked to me on the phone. We were talking about it. About the race stuff, race talk and everything. They saw that when one of our shorts or something about a race thing that we talked about, when we were talking about in our YouTube, we were talking about race.
We were talking about the labels don't matter anymore, right? Because they've been overused.
So I had a friend of mine contact me and say, what, Todd? They're like, honestly, that's true. It is true. Versus calling somebody, you can't tell a person who they are or what they are. Nobody can judge that. No one can judge you, but it's within your heart. You know what you are. I can't tell you what you are. You could be an evil person on your life. You can be a bitter person on your life. It's your choice to be bitter or better. It's your choice to be a victim or somebody who's going to try to fight hard and never give up. It's your choice to give up.
As a victim, sometimes you got people around you that want to keep you a victim.
It's called the crab factory.
Because it's
called the crab theory.
Right, but they want to keep you a victim because it makes them feel powerful.
Yeah.
Crab theory, said?
Yeah, it's called crab theory. You ever hear about it?
No, I want to hear about that. I never heard that.
Crab theory is really easy. Crab theory is that you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl and just watch it. Every time you crabs start carrying it up, the other crabs will pull them back down. And that's kind of what it is. It's exactly what you're talking about. Who you hang around with.
Right.
Is exactly it. If you hang around with people that are going to pull you down, and you know it, and I've done that.
Right.
Done it for a long time. For over 20-some years, I had people who were around me that I just, honestly, I kept trying to take it. And at one time, I'm like, you know what, I'm done. And I can't do it no more. And honestly, you got to break away from it. You got to break the chains away from everything. You've got to make that choice.
It's not that easy. Some people can't do it without support from other people.
Right. And that's true. And that's where you've got to build
some people
support.
don't find support until something bad happens.
Well,
like go to a hospital, emergency room, bad.
COVID was a good way of making that thing.
One other thing is too, I like observation, you talk about people, basically what the crabs, and when we put it in human terms, the people who are around you, who are your monks, and when you try to climb out of it, they resent you because they see that you're they think you're seeing yourself as a better person and want to remove yourself from them. And there's a resentment that sets up in that, in the human cycle. I mean, obviously the crabs are going to say, yeah, he thinks he's all that. They're not doing that, but yeah, it's like a resentment. People will think like, well, you're one of us. What makes you think you're better than us? And that's what it is amongst the the urban setting. That's really a bad situation.
But I mean, you lived it because of the life that you're able to lead.
Mhm.
I don't want to go into the whole thing. And when people find out about different things,
Yeah.
that they resent you.
Yeah, they resent me because I mean, I had my dad's family were they were movers and shakers in the town at one time, but that was in the 40s and 50s. And now this is like what 2024. Nobody remembers any people around, and they did have advantage. And that's the thing is, I mean, when the woke people talk about advantage, I can't say dismissive because what it is when you're around people who have business, you sit around and you hear them talk about business. Even if you're not actively jotting notes down, you get a good idea. Like maybe if I go into business, I'll avoid this, I'll avoid that. You just hear it because it's what's sat around and talked about. It's not like hey, we'll give you the secrets to success. You just hear about it.
Right.
You got the advantage. You're going to have the advantage because you've seen the pitfalls of, you got to go to a lawyer to get this. You got to have an accountant to do this. You got that advantage, and that can't be overlooked. I mean, and there's a valid point to that about people do have an advantage. Now, there's also but if you take a person who was born in the suburbs and totally, a clean-cut world and dropped into the urban setting, they'd get a total disadvantage. And it helps to find somebody who is willing enough to pull them out and, hey, here's what we got to do here. They're going to guide you through this. So that's all matter of perspective, though. Privilege, let's face it, privilege could be when you're dropped into a setting that's, terrifying for you.
Right.
And it's terrifying for a person who's coming up, trying to go into the bigger, broader, and a possibly better paying world existence. That's terrifying because when you're doing that, you're calling attention to yourself. You got more enemies. You got more.
The higher you grow, the more enemies you get,
right?
And the tighter your circle gets.
Right, and so you basically you got to circle the wagons. You always got to have us. Then that's where the us and it happens with the cops. It happens with any group. Us against them.
Right. But there's always one splitter in the group that's not happy, that they just want to be John's friend, but they don't want to be your friend, and they're upset when the two of you are doing something. So they go and say something to John what Todd said.
Yeah.
Right.
John, there's just the way people act sometimes is horrible.
Never underestimate the power of resentment, and that's what Nietzsche said. I mean, it's true. I mean, people do horrible things because they resent each other. They resent the success. So I'm a true conservative in a lot of ways. I mean, in some ways, I look at a person who has $1 million house and say, God, that'd be cool that everybody had a house like that.
Right.
Well, a person who is a socialist thinking, why does anybody need a house like that? It's like, I want people to advance.
But okay, and I always wonder why. Okay, when a person asks that question, like, why does anyone need that house?
Yeah.
It's like I always come back to the thought of why not, and what the hell is your problem for caring about if they have that house?
Right.
It's like we want to teach a person to be a victim, and it's like because I don't want to try to be it. And the funny thing is, the guys that are sitting there in the politics are telling me that you shouldn't have a big house. They have big houses.
Right.
Help me out with that one.
It's like, like another thing is too, it's like, we've said before, I mean, I have a crush on money. I'm crushing heavily on it. I think everybody should have,
I never get a crush.
I might have a crush on money. If there's out there, if thousands of dollars want to hear about that. But anyway, serious. I think money gives you options. And I would love to have everybody have all the options they could probably decide.
Well, think about it. If we weren't giving all of our money out to foreign countries,
we could
there's one country in particular where if you figure out how much money we give them per year, every citizen of that country could be a millionaire.
Yeah,
if they gave it directly to the people of their country.
And it's like the thing is, the conservatives will say, "Well, you don't want to have that because that's like that's socialism, that's a welfare state." But they're perfectly fine with military expenditures and throwing armament all over the world, missiles that are costing $80,000 a piece. Yeah, losing money,
losing billions of dollars.
No accountability.
Unaccountable.
Yeah, I mean,
it's okay for them. Like the PPP loans that you hear about now that they're starting to go get people. That were getting millions of dollars. It was supposed to be for small businesses to help them out to get restarted for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And these people were found the loophole, found the what you heard about the people with the glitch, with the Chase glitch, right, where they're writing bad checks. But they were doing the same thing with the PPP loans.
I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, it goes back to this. If we took care of our own, I mean,
there's no oversight.
No, there is not.
It's just like, I seen a thing on YouTube where it says that this congressman is upset with the way that one of the ABCs is handling the money. Well, he's the oversight for it. I just don't understand how people don't understand that these people are the ones that created that agency
Yeah,
that they're bitching about. That's not spending the money in the way that they wanted to spend it.
we pay them to go there and do that.
It's a game. Like the CEO of the corporation called the president, a ne'er-do-well, and he's like negligent in his duties, and he happens to be the same individual. But anyway, the same individual.
Well, okay, so I was watching a thing on TikTok, I think it was on TikTok, about Josh Hawley having a thing with the guy from Boeing, right? The chairman or the president, the CEO of Boeing,
Okay,
makes $38 million a year.
good for him.
And he's like, don't you think that's a lot of money? And I'm thinking, at the time, like Josh was asking him, I'm like, well, why does it matter to
But,
you?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they're not paying. They're paying for him because of his connections
Right.
with the people that he knows. That okay, if this guy goes to Boeing, he's going to bring all the people from this company, the
Sure.
connections and different things. That's what they're paying for.
What I don't understand, when you get on this side of the Congress and you can ask these questions, it's like you act like you're God. You really do. You honestly sit there and talk like you're God. And it's like you can't say you're an idiot, because Candace Owens one time said that, or almost said something like, well, that was a dumb question or something. All she said was that was a dumb statement or a dumb question. And Jerry Nadler was like,
It's an
losing his,
attack.
oh my God, you could not call any member of this Congress stupid. And I'm thinking the whole time, you all are stupid. What the heck is going on? I mean, I really don't understand you guys. I don't understand how you talk. I don't understand how you
Congress a joke. Just like what they've done to the police, just like what's been done to law enforcement has been done to Congress. But Congress did it to themselves.
So
They made themselves.
how do you change it? I mean, John Adams said, one man is lazy is a lazy man. Two men is lazy is a law
You
firm.
can't. I
Three or
mean,
more is a Congress.
I mean, it wasn't even an insurrection in January 6th, as far as I'm concerned. It was like I said, it was like a security guard leading a bunch of preschool students through the halls of Congress. But they made it into something that it wasn't, to scare people. These guys didn't do anything, and they're going to jail. They're in jail right now.
They've been in jail ever since they
Okay,
caught
think
them.
if there was an unrest and really people were upset and they went to Washington, what do you think they would do? It would be bad, wouldn't it?
It would not be a good sight.
But actually, it'd be God, I sound like Porky Pig there. But it would be like a slaughter. It'd be like a slaughter. And
I worry that
yeah,
it would
it's going to
be.
be. Yeah, it would be a slaughter. I mean, even if you went there with no weapons and just a massive
No,
protest,
it's not.
it'd be
It'd
cut
be
down.
a slaughter because now they got facial recognition
Yeah.
there. They got all the technologies that we don't want there. They know they can look and see who you
Yeah,
are.
because we all contributed, because we all went on Facebook. What we do, we load up our pages. Well, now we can't say, well, you can't have images when you give like a private corporation like Facebook.
They're scanning
And they-
your images.
And they're taking them from them.
It's in the TOS or TOS in the terms of service that they scan your images.
Yeah.
I mean, you put in my name in a search engine and my face comes up.
You put my name in, it breaks the internet.
It breaks it,
Yeah,
yeah.
the pictures.
But the same thing.
Not because I'm
they
so-
were bragging. Google has Gemini. Now the new Pixels are coming out with Gemini built in. Do you really want AI on your phone?
What's on our phone? You
I
are working on it,
mean,
but
yeah, but I mean, it's built in. It's running things.
Oh, everyone's doing that now.
But you understand what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm not asking. Do you want it?
No, I don't, but everybody wants it.
Which I think is like, where can I get a flip phone that still works in the system?
I have one. So I keep my phone for like years because I don't want to upgrade like everybody has these
Well,
upgrades.
then you should get a Pixel like I got because Pixel 2s and Pixel 3s still work.
But I think
The
I've got
phone is like 10 years old. They don't. It's not like a iPhone where they make it unusable.
Oh, I'm not using an iPhone because I'm just not there with it.
Right.
Because I'm not, because I'm not doing the China thing. I'm sorry,
Oh,
but
you are. All the phones are China things.
yeah, that's true.
There's not an American-made phone. I mean, maybe they're assembled here. That's about it. But all the components are made.
I remember I brought that up when the technology started developing. I said, what about what's made here in the country? And I was talking to people in college, and they were saying, it doesn't matter. Look at how much lower the prices are and stuff. I went, it's got to be. Because I knew back then, even as this, it's like when you're dependent on your enemy or your possible enemy to make everything it's going to become sensitive or useful, but overly relied upon, that's a serious link.
It is stupid because most of my life I didn't have a cell phone until 2008.
Were you out of the military, weren't you?
Yeah,
I was out of the military when I had one.
Well, 2008, I think.
2006
when I first got my
one.
cell phone, and it was a flip razor, and I pushing the little buttons to play the stupid games.
No, I got a BlackBerry in
But I'm
2000.
saying now, everywhere I go, I take that piece of junk with me.
It's your life. It's your calendar. It's
I
everything.
purposely leave it in the car now, like when I go into restaurants or stuff.
So you're
And in the store, when I go in the store, I don't take it. Now, I mean, but before, man, it's like your key, like that Adam Sandler song.
Yeah, Keith's
wallet phone.
Yeah,
that's what it
you keep on adding
wallet phone.
Then his laptop, then his iPad.
Yeah, but where you feel naked without it.
It's like, yeah, that's exactly it. Keys wallet phone used to be the wallet. I mean, Keys and wallet, that was it. Now it's a phone, and then you got to have this. You got to have. It's like basically it's like carry a bag, and then they're going to make fun of us.
There's so much information on there about you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only there. I'm sure that it's other places too that you don't even know just by having the phone.
But nobody ever sits back and really think. I'm really amazed about our country. One of the things I'm amazed more about than anything is that we had Henry Ford. We had. I'm going somewhere with this, right? We had Hershey. We had Henry Ford. We had the guys here, that started General Motors. We had guys that were, the Bell Tire guys. We had Hudson. We had all the different guys in the turn of the century in the 1900s, right? We had Thomas Edison in Michigan. We had all these different people, right in this whole area. And they created something that was lasting all the way up through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? We were a place where you had factories all over the place. Now, we have hardly any factories across this country. Hardly anything.
We have assembly plants. We don't have factories.
We don't have factories like we used to.
No, not factories, but assembly plants.
So if we ever go to war with like China, we really don't make it because all our stuff is made by our competitor.
But like I brought up in one of our previous videos, if they tried to institute the draft the first time, then nobody's gonna show up. Nobody. I can't see any kids showing up.
So what do you do? I mean,
what do they do? Not what I do.
So you had a guy that is in China that can hit a button. So this all comes back to tonight, and it comes back to November. It's all serious, and I don't care about what people might think or not. But this is a serious question to look at, and you may not agree or disagree with what we talk about. But here's the thing. You've got a guy sitting in China right now that can hit a button at any time he wants to, or go to wherever he wants to, pull people in and say, hit this button, shut off all operating systems on everything that you think that holds your life all together. Holds that right there. All the different information gets out to anybody, internets and all that stuff. He can pull that thing together. He pulled plugs. Sure. He did it in 2020, right? And we got people who are making our weapons in other countries because a group of people who sit on this side, if you sit in the Senate or Congress, those guys right there, they are the ones who actually have said, here you go. Here's our country. Thank you very much. You guys can have everything. In Michigan, there was a town who had a fight against Governor Whitmer because she brought in a China company and gave them total tax rebates and everything. Stopped any other kind of manufacturing but brought in the Chinese and put the people in there on top of everybody else. That has been done. Has threatened to shut off pipelines that go up to the UP to keep people that they need the gas up there to do stuff like that. This is what's coming online for tonight. This is where you got Trump walking in and thinking he's got it. And this is where I'm a little bit lax about everything. Not lax, but a little bit watching it.
So you don't think if Trump wins and he takes office, they're not gonna? You're saying they're not gonna make it easy on him. They're gonna create little disasters.
No, I think the thing is, that if Trump wins, that guy's not going to hit that button. I think the thing is, he knows. One thing about
But
Trump
I'm talking
was,
about the enemy within the United States.
oh, the enemy within the United States is going to go right back and do 2020 all over, 2017, 2018, 2019. You're going to hear everything about Russia. You're going to hear about everything.
Well, they
about,
already tried.
Yeah.
They
Right.
died.
yeah, I mean, but they're coming to bring it back again. Nancy Pelosi's
Yeah,
going
but
to
I
stand
think
up.
people are a lot smarter now. I mean, I know John. We talked about it. I'm not wearing a mask. I don't think he's
Yeah,
going to
but
wear a mask.
No one's going to wear a mask.
But what
Hardly.
I'm saying is,
People still do wear masks.
It's not that easy for them to do stuff because we know now.
Well, they just
But Kamala Harris did say this. Is she said, "Listen, if I win, Elon Musk is going to be facing consequences because she's like he should not have any of this type of authority. She wants to take that authority away from him."
He's taking authority away from himself and just giving it to the people.
Well, he
In my
did that,
opinion.
but in her eyes, because he gave it to the people and didn't give it to the Democratic Party, which I'm okay with the local Democratic Party convention because they're guys we know and work with. We know them as people. But I'm talking about the guys who sit there in those lobbyist firms up in DC who don't give a crap about the people in every little city across the country that we work with. All they care about is the power and who's going to run this country and what country they're going to sell us out to. And they're in the same as the Republican Party. They're not. It's not either or. I mean, in
I
2020,
can see them. Okay, they put on their little political show.
right? It's
and
all a
then,
show.
Then they go to lunch at some ritzy restaurant all together.
I was stationed in DC. My last station in DC. And you know what? A lot of these guys were out to dinner all the time together, having beers together, all this sort of stuff. And that time, people got along. And in the 1990s, people
But I'm
did get
saying
things right.
the Democrats and Republicans. I'm saying they get together and they
Yeah.
have a laugh together. And
Well, they laugh at the
get
American people.
when they're doing the theater, that they hate each other. But after that, they're butt buddies. I'm sorry.
But they are afterwards.
I was like, to me, it's always one of my dad said when he was younger, he liked to go to wrestling matches down in Detroit. And he said they get in the state in the ring, they're always trash talking. I guess the expression would be nowadays.
Right.
And he said before that and after that, he said they're all in the limos together partying and stuff. It was just all for show, and that's exactly what I see when I see somebody like John Kennedy and all these other people asking these hard questions to agencies that they do have control, like Steve was saying. It's like it's all show. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's not real. There's no genuineness to this.
Unfortunately, there's people that suck it up on the internet and say, "Oh, we need more people like Kennedy, Mr. Suspenders in Congress."
Are you talking about the guy from Louisiana?
Yeah.
I like him though. I actually do. He
I'll
makes
see
it
you're one of
interesting.
them.
No, he makes it interesting.
Yeah, but still, he's the one. He knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay, so they got all this stuff that they read off. Well, why are they waiting for the stupid conference when they know what they think they're doing wrong? Leadership, isn't that something? Is if you see something going that's wrong, what are you supposed to do?
Fix
Nip it
it.
in the bud, right?
Right.
And then plus explain, not just. I mean, if you have time, explain why it's not right and why they shouldn't do it again. But why you're going to wait until you're on TV to do it?
Because
It's the same thing.
You get more press on TV
It's
and
the
you look
same thing
better.
with Kamala Harris. I mean, I'm going to do this, and this if I'm elected. Well, why not do it now?
Because she can't.
They're
And she
all
won't do it on the day
they're all a
one.
bunch of tomorrow men.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, because it's easy to say I'm going to do it tomorrow because you may not have to.
Well, here's a question. A lot of her staff members quit when she first came in.
really.
You didn't know this.
Well,
She went through a lot of.
She went through a lot of staff members. You know why?
Why?
The biggest problem is because she never would study. She never would get prepared. She didn't know what the heck she was talking about. That's why all the word salads come up.
Yeah, well, I like when she explains something. It's not like a kindergarten teacher trying to talk to a second grade class. She's trying to
She does have one. I love buses.
Yeah,
They get us around and they got yellow.
You ever ride a little yellow bus?
And it was such
I
freedom.
remember.
you know, it's like,
Not that there's anything wrong with people that ride the little one.
No.
No, we definitely don't want to say that. But I mean, I just think she.
Oh, there we go, right there. I can see comments on that one. What are you doing? The thing is that I think the thing is that Trump needs to learn how to shut his mouth and get to work. And if
But
he
he
did,
did a
he'd
good
win.
job at the last debate. He did.
Oh, he
shut
did.
his mouth.
Oh no, he did a good job.
And he was high, and he was respectful to Biden because he knew it wasn't Biden.
Yeah.
I mean,
He didn't go after him.
He didn't go after him. Just like I don't think he's going to have to go after her. I think she's going to do everything to herself, just like Joe Biden did.
I think if he wants to win tonight, I think the question's always
Just
going to
like-
be, what did you do?
Yeah.
Okay, so when the gas is $1.86, when I got out, it's like,
Right.
and now it's this amount. Explain to me how that happened.
But
Just explain it.
again, I don't want to see him trying to do all kind. I don't want to see a bunch of. I'm going to try to do. I got you. The whole thing.
No, but
No, I want to hear. I would rather him. Okay, whatever, and just talk about what he wants to talk about because it's his chance to talk to people that he wouldn't ordinarily get to talk to. I wouldn't waste my time with even saying, "Did you hear what she said?" and then go into whatever.
He will though. He did that last debate.
Yeah, and that's what he should do. She's just a nuisance at the debate for him to get his word out.
So all you should do is just talk about what he wants to do.
Yeah,
Answer the
let her
question.
talk.
Let her do her thing, and then
Yeah.
he just goes on and talks about her thought. Let her take her pot shots.
I mean, he can do a pop shot at the end after he says what he wants to say. I mean, she said she's going to do that, but this is what I've done, and this is what I'm going to do again. I'm sure that's what people want to hear, right?
They really want to hear a plan.
I mean, but there's going to be people who are going to tune in hoping that there's going to be a battle of the brains.
Well, I mean, they are hoping to hear her going, "Excuse me, I'm talking." They want to hear that.
I don't, but I don't know. What do you think, John?
I just think I go to my position. I mean, I think it's I don't know the best approach. I wouldn't be engaged in this alleged thing. I personally just
If he
think
didn't, he'd look like he was running away from her.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's what they would say.
Yeah,
Right. Even though that she did not make the Fox debate. Because
But
he
I
actually had
don't
one for
know.
Fox and she would not show up.
that's what. But see,
But even Fox.
it's like none of these people
Because
are.
what's your? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, here's a thought. I mean, just you and I and Todd are sitting here talking. There's prominent people on social media, such as we're doing here. Why don't we get those people to actually have the candidates in their locations and with the people
Because
they
they don't
usually
want.
have?
They don't want it.
No.
They want their little sound bites, and they don't want people. They don't want the normies.
No, but I mean,
regular life.
Obviously, if I were Trump, I would say, hey, why don't we just go to the real
He is
real
doing
people?
that.
More so than
He's
that, though.
been on all kinds of podcasts.
Podcasts.
I mean, he went on Vaughn's podcast. What's his name? The guy with the mullet. Vaughn. Help me out. The one that I told you about the peaches. About
the comedian.
Yeah.
The comedian talking about
Theo Vaughn.
Yeah. So that's the approach to take because those guys in the media bigs like even Tucker Carlson.
Because remember,
Oh yeah, he did a Carlson show. That was a good one.
but he called President Trump dude. And told him how hyped up he would be. You would be now on your front porch if you did that stuff. When they're talking about drugs, Trump asked him how it felt to take drugs, and if he liked these. No, I didn't like it. He said, "You're your own porch light on your front porch," or something like that. It was funny, just the way that he was talking to Trump, and that's where Trump has the other politicians because. Ultimately, he is a politician, but he comes off. He comes that money, he comes off like a normal person.
That's surprising.
You can see him sitting in his underwear watching TV.
That's what I like. When he first ran that, I did not like Trump. I can't emphasize it enough. Okay, I did not. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was going to be a PR stunt. But as I saw him talking to people and stuff, he'd actually listen to what they're saying. And he didn't have an agenda more than anything else, and he was going to see if he can get an agenda created from what they were saying. And that was the difference there. That was the difference. The other one, and that's what the point I was going to bring initially is like, what instead of looking at these people, well, what are you going to do? Why don't we say, here's what we think's got to be done? We never do
this
that.
Is what we want done. what are you going to do?
Yeah.
This is what now, how are you going to do it is what people should be saying. This is what we want. This is what needs to be done. How are you going to do it? Now, what are you going to do? Why do they get to decide what they're going to do? They're supposed to be a representative of us.
Or like, I remember a friend telling me he was like studying, he was a war historian, and he said like during World War II, during the war, World War II, the Germans actually said, they talked to their command structure, and they said, here's the objective. You got a lot of wiggle room to get it accomplished.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's what we should be saying to the people, the politicians. Here's what we want done. We know we have all these
How
options
many
to do it.
times do they say the American people want?
Yeah.
The American people want to see a strong Ukraine.
Right.
Or the American people want to
Yes,
see a
that.
strong Israel.
That's
Our ally.
Have you ever asked American people what they want?
Yeah.
No.
Well, another thing is, I'd like to know this. Okay. They keep on saying they're the strongest ally in the Middle East is, they're the only democracy in the Middle East is Israel. Well, we're not supposed to be a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Another thing is too, really from what they do, I can't say that the defense of them being a democracy can actually be made either. So, I mean, it's like they say, well, all these other people are brutal dictators and all this stuff. Well, what they're carrying out, I mean, the criticism can cast back and forth. And another thing is, we're not a democracy. They keep on repeating this thing over and over. This is democracy. Trump's a threat to our democracy. We're not a democracy. We're not a democracy.
We're a republic.
Republic, and there's a difference, and that's being blurred, and that's done deliberately because they don't want people to realize what republic means. It is a democratic form of governance, but it also enshrines the rights of the individual. Because if it's not done that way, you're going to have true mob rule, and that's not going to be pretty.
No, because you see it like New York and you see
In
it
Chicago.
in Chicago.
Right.
It's
I've seen quote unquote democracy.
Yeah, it's like a democratic republic of this, democratic republic of that. And usually in places nobody wants to go to.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like,
I don't see a lot of people signing up to go to New York and live there.
oh, I don't know.
I'm saying people coming out.
yeah,
But
New
you
York.
think about it, all your life, I wanted to go to New York.
I don't
And then
mind.
when I actually went there, I said, why do people want to come here?
Chicago's close enough for me.
You see, because it's not that big. You see everything. And then I didn't like it. I mean,
I was in New York this last summer, and I told everybody I was with, this is, I only come back for a conference, and it's got to be a really good conference because I'm not a New York type of person.
It's like, I mean, I love Chicago in the 80s. I used to go there all the 80s and through the mid part of the 90s.
I mean, because it was nice. You
Yeah.
could go to the museums and different things. They had, but
But you weren't having people blow up cars. You weren't having people blow up stores and running in ransack.
No.
You didn't have people running in saying, "Oh, that's okay. Let me steal everything. And they got insurance, and let me take it." Rite Aid and all these guys are closing, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're coming out of the suburb. They're coming out of all these different, the burbs and everything like that.
Mhm.
They're coming out of them just because they can't find anyone to work down there. They can't find people working downtown because." The thing is that they can't find people who want to stand there and watch people run in, steal, and walk out the door.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but that's not our Constitution didn't say you have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and steal whatever you want because the store owner has insurance and go ahead and take it. I'm sorry, that's not something we owe you.
reparations.
But the only people who can be allowed to steal legally in this country are our politicians. Nobody
Oh.
questions what they do, but
Oh, yeah,
that's our job, man.
they
Yeah.
steal those gold bars
What's
down
the
the front.
funniest part about the politician? He'll take money from you, take some of it, give it to him, and he'll take some of it
Yeah.
through taxes.
Right. They'll take it over from everybody. And then stand up there and go, but the Ukrainian people want.
Yeah, well, the Ukrainian people, but like I said, then also the American people want the Ukrainians to win.
No, I don't care.
Most people is like, okay, I actually, they should.
And most people say, where the hell
Where's
is
Ukraine?
Where's Ukraine?
It's like, where the hell is it? I mean, they always make it like everybody's so crucial to our existence. And let's face it, I really question that because how many of us actually say, it would have been a better world if this place hadn't done this or this place hadn't done. If it had been important, it's been so lost in the memory of the consciousness of humans,
Actually, though, in the truth, I have to be truthful. I did talk to a friend of mine today that is from Ukraine,
Mhm.
and he got relocated to Poland when this war started. He's a salesperson for a program that I deal with. And, we were talking about it. And he's like, you know what? He's lived here for 2 or 3 years. And he's got used to Poland. And he's like, I'm like, are you going to go back? He's like, nope. Don't want to go back. He loves Poland, loves everything about
It's a
it.
stable country. It's
Stability and everything. Right? He's like, in the whole time he lived in, he goes, by the time I was growing up in Ukraine, I had all these different things going on. He didn't know when this thing happened. That was his last straw. He went to Poland.
Well, see, another thing is people don't understand that, though. I mean, the government we have now there, Zelensky's government, was not something people there wanted. That was basically installed for them. That was put on them, over on them. And people don't understand that. I think it was during the Obama administration he got in, and it wasn't. I don't think was he properly elected, Zelensky, or what?
I think he was. He was elected properly. I can't tell you.
To talk about.
He was elected, but I can't say it's a properly elected. I think it was we had the CIA and FBI. We had the CIA over there doing the whole thing.
Well, it's like if there are presidents there that automatically is going to throw them at I would say, raise suspicions, because I mean, we always got to do that. I mean, it's like we resent they're always going about the China collusion or the Russian collusion or whatever. But we've done this so many times. We're bound if somebody's going to catch on and use our playbook. I'm serious. I mean, they're going to do it. They got our congressmen and senators. They just write checks to them. They do whatever they want. I mean, ours is we got the best money a government money can buy. I mean,
that's true.
They're open to
that is the one thing. We take your money and run.
Yeah.
So,
but the one thing that I hope Trump, I don't know if you guys know about that the Big Lots filed bankruptcy today.
No.
They're blaming the COVID for it because they've been struggling ever since.
COVID?
Mm-hmm. So maybe Trump's going to bring that one out.
If Trump,
you wouldn't think Walmart. You wouldn't
Big
think
Lots.
Big Lots would.
No.
I mean, we go there. You go there for
Yeah.
coffee.
Yep.
I mean, but there's
It's
always
busy.
people in there. It's busy. You wouldn't think that they would have a problem, but they're still trying to catch up from
COVID.
So another thing is too, like the government says, well, they act like it was so they act like it was so necessary to close everything up, and didn't. Well, it obviously didn't work.
Well, here, but like I said, Texas didn't do
Right.
it. Florida did it for a minute, and then why are we doing it?
Right.
It was just dumps.
I think Florida did it more because they had cruise ships coming in, and they had people on those cruise ships from other
But
countries.
it wasn't that long. Not
No.
like here. It was
I think it was 2
stupid. You
weeks.
had to fight. If it wouldn't have been for the court system, we'd probably still be wearing masks.
Yeah.
But easily.
Because she fought everything. She wanted that control.
And another thing is she would put restrictions on us. She totally blew off in her own personal life. She traveled.
She can't get a haircut.
Yeah, she can't get a
do
haircut.
this. She can't. That was so stupid.
And she was showing at bars, a bar down in East
She was
Lansing.
in Florida.
Yeah, she
went to Florida.
Yeah, we're not supposed to do all this stuff, but you can. Your husband wants to call this place to get their boat out of storage and put it in the water when you're not supposed to do any of this.
And we're talking about the governor of our
This-
state, in case anybody's
Whitmer,
wondering.
Governor Whitmer.
That was actually in the running for vice president.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
For
thank
2
God.
times.
she was too smart. I mean, and she had self-preservation to do it, to
Yeah.
not do it.
So everybody's like, I think of specious logic too, and they say like, well, if she hadn't done this, it would have been worse. I mean, there's no way you could actually that's all conjecture. I mean, it's like, it's ridiculous to say this is going to be worse. How can we
There's a
prove
whole
that?
bunch of stuff that we could talk about. But
Okay, well, let's go on that for a second. You were talking about the Republican Party, right?
I was what?
You were talking about the Republican Party
Yeah.
and how they don't come together, right? They really in stuff like that.
It was great. I mean, the people that I can't remember the name. I don't know if you remember the name of the group. They weren't Republicans. They were grassroots. They were like a bunch of lawyers that got together to battle her. It had nothing to do with the Republicans.
No, because the Republican Party didn't do diddly squad. This wasn't underneath Rhonda McDaniel or something. But here's the thing: you had Tudor Dixon, but before Tudor Dixon was doing a lot, you had the chief from Detroit.
They
Chief
took
Jackson.
him out.
They took him out like an
He could've won.
idiotic thing. He could have won. All you had to do is walk through the whole thing.
Yeah, because that makes you wonder is how
How
his ballots were all of his ballots were thrown out. Remember, he couldn't get certified.
To me, that was the dumbest thing. It was the Republican Party that kicked him out of it. That was the dumbest thing ever. when they do
But
stupid
they
shit
said
like that, it's like they shouldn't win.
They
But
said
the
that
thing is, they
petitions
keep him
were-
winning.
that he had invalid signatures.
He had valid signatures. He just didn't
It
want
was
to go.
him,
with them.
and then the millionaire. Remember Johnson was the other guy.
But that guy gave me nightmares just looking at him. I'm sorry. He looked like one of those creepy guys
Yeah, but he
from a horror movie. He was smart.
Yeah,
He was the one that created the.
but they got him too.
And that was the Republican Party that got both of those guys.
Yeah, maybe possibly.
So the Republican Party wants to do everything,
I hope he runs again.
but the Republican Party did everything they could to lose their own game.
You know, they always
Because
use
they don't
themselves as what?
care. I mean, they're not in power now. They haven't been. I mean, the Democrats run the House now. They've run the House for the last.
Then who in God's green earth is ahead of the Michigan Republican Party?
Nobody.
Does anybody know that?
Obviously.
No, because honestly, that person needs to step down and get somebody in there with a brain.
Oh, they
In all
don't care.
honesty.
No, he's comfortable. What's he care? He's going to get paid either if he's in power or out of power.
All right, but if you want a Republican, okay, so we had no. If you want to have somebody in there, like I thought Tudor Dixon was a really good one. She could have won if they put money behind her. She could have won. She had a good winning speech. She's really one of the smarter people you hear a lot of spots. I'm sorry, but she is. She's very intelligent. She stood up to Gretchen in that debate, toe to toe, and won that debate.
But she didn't have the money.
She had the money. She had the backing,
Was that one other thing is too?
and it was because the Republican Party didn't do that to
The
Albert.
Because they don't. They don't do anything in this state.
I think the Republican Party in the state of Michigan has been basically paid off to to give a token resistance. That's all it is. Because I mean, I've seen this when I had friends running for office in Genesee County, different parts, and they were running as Republicans. They couldn't get the state to give them any funding whatsoever. They said, if we can clear these hurdles, then we'll talk about getting you money. Well, you should that's where the Democrats are different. As soon as somebody shows any kind of promise of being a promising candidate, they help them. And that's the Republican Party did not do that. And I've been around this stuff for 30 some years,
Right.
and so,
A lot of stuff you can advise me on because I'm coming into it like in the last 15.
right.
But I know I'm watching this. And I'm trying to think, and I'm looking at it going, the Republican Party is good at one thing. All they're good at is telling you what the problem is.
They're the party of the losers, and they're happy losers.
Yeah, that's like
They're like that drunk in the back of the bar,
let's say
and that's all they're ever going to be is the drunk in the back of the bar.
my friend went
But
to.
at least they're at the party.
So my friend went to. He used to go-
And they're at the core of the party. But
Yeah.
My friend went to a college, and it was a well-known college, and it was known for having a piss poor football team, and they embraced that. They used to show up in tuxedos, and the girls would wear beautiful dresses, and they'd go watch their team lose. But they were just embrace that whole thing that they're all losers. I mean,
Right.
and that's exactly what the Republican Party is done here. I
It's
mean,
party of losers
it's like they don't want to.
in the state of Michigan.
and even across the country. I mean, honestly, if you look at it, they can tell you what the problem is. They'll never tell you how to fix it.
One thing is they do represent some things or ideas that might be considered outdated or simply rejected because of the growing changes in the demographics of people and stuff. But they never did make it. I mean, the party here in Michigan never made it any more than a token. I mean, for a while, for a long time, when you and I were growing up, Bill Milliken was the governor. He was,
Right.
but he was a milquetoast Republican. I mean, he was beyond a rhino, basically. I mean, he was indistinguishable. But then back then, though, there wasn't such a heavily marked up territory between the two parties. There's no
They got along.
Yeah.
And they were moderates.
Yeah.
But they were all working towards the same goal.
Today, they're not.
No.
Today,
it's like totally right, totally left. But
even at the totally right isn't even focused at what the country's all about.
No.
And even at the totally left is even focused what the country is. It's that middle mark that still loves this country. Everybody else, I'm sorry, AOC, you can't tell me she loves this country. And you can't tell me these guys who are on the you can't tell me Matt Gaetz, what he's doing is great for the country.
No.
Matt Gaetz is all about Matt Gaetz. Every time Matt Gaetz does something, all you see is like, please support my new campaigns fund, da-da-da-da-da. Jim Jordan, I like listening to him because he actually says it to you straight. Yes, he's a wrestling coach from Ohio. I don't
because
hold that
he
against
still
him.
reminds me of a coach.
Yeah, he does.
I like a school teacher is what
Yeah.
he reminds me of.
Yeah, he does. He's like, I just kind of think all the time you're going to see these.
Come
little-
on, guys. You don't want to be doing this.
Yeah, you guys are stupid. What are you doing?
I can see him saying that.
I can see. You know who I really think they need to get back in to the Congress? Honestly,
What's that?
I think there's two people who need to get back in the Congress, and it needs to be Trey Gowdy And I think they need to get Jason Chavez back in the Congress.
Trey Gowdy, I remember. I don't know the other one too much. but Trey Gowdy-
Jason was good because Jason was one thing about Jason that was really good was Jason understood the bureaucracy of everything and could run it. He understood the insides and outsides, so you couldn't bullshit him. Trey Gowdy, he would sit there politely, but at the same time, he actually held you to the fire. And nobody could come out here with this bullshit stuff. He wouldn't let you do it. It wasn't a Matt Gaetz who was just trying to do a showdown. It was a real honest, this is what was going on. We need guys like that. If you can't find people like those guys and Jim Jordan,
But
and
we
the
need them on
Republican
both sides, though, not just the Republican Party.
We need them on the
We
Democratic.
need Democrats like that too.
Yeah.
That are willing to work with Republicans and get stuff done.
I think
Yeah.
I don't think that's an opportunity though. I really don't. I don't. It's so far. It's so polarized. I don't see.
But I
that
can't
happening.
think.
There used to be good Democrats.
But can you think of one?
Dan Kelly, who used to be good. Dan
No,
Kelly's
no.
been wrong, but he's good. He is actually
Dale or
Dan.
Dan.
He actually, honestly, Kildee is actually one guy that is hard enough. He works his butt off, but and I know that I don't agree with everything he does. I really don't. But at least one of the things I can say is this: is that one of the things that Dan Kildee has been good for is for a lot of the veterans that I know that if they go through his office, he gets on there and works for them. But the problem is, he'll tell you this one thing: it's hard. He's actually retiring this year
Yeah,
because he's tired of this game.
I think
He's coming back to Flint because he's tired of this bullshit in DC.
he's probably happy being the head of the
Land thing again.
land bank that he created.
Yeah.
He created that before he left, and then he's coming back.
Is he going to come back to that either?
I think so.
Yeah, it's been running. I mean, I know some people work for it, but
But honestly, he's somebody that's moderate.
But
We
the
need
thing
moderate
is,
guys.
okay, how do you feel like the abortion issue? I think it's done. What I mean is, it's where it belongs. It's at the state level now.
Right.
I don't think it should be a national issue. It should be. It shouldn't be like their main issue now.
No, I think it should be a state, and I'll tell you why. It should be a state for my way because it takes away from a stupid, dumbass old man sitting in DC going, "I believe in reproductive rights," and he doesn't give a shit about it. You know what I'm saying? So we don't bring it in the states where people actually can vote.
I just can't believe that there's people that will pull a lever. Well, there's no lever anymore, but will fill in a bubble. I'm going to vote for him because he believes in abortion. Or I'm going to vote for him because he doesn't believe in abortion. I understand the issue and it's important, but I don't think at the national level anymore. It should be a main. It should be an issue, but not the issue.
Can they raise it up to that in the next 50 days?
You got like Lindsey Graham, who's always throwing it around. Every time everything seems like it's going to go together, he wants a national abortion bill to go through.
I think it needs to be a state level and let the people
that's
vote.
where it was before. Everything should be the state level. There shouldn't be any. Why do we need federal laws? I mean, for federal things, dealing with other countries, I understand, but the state law should supersede federal law.
Yep.
And feds shouldn't be able to come in a state and hold money hostage because you're not doing what they want you to do.
The educational system should be in the state level.
Well, that's one good thing about Donald Trump said he's going to abolish the education.
And he's also
Department of Education, sorry. Not education.
The one thing I think he's doing smart, that if people actually caught on, I think this is smart. He's actually bringing Elon Musk in to actually, if he gets elected, to actually stop to go through and clean up all the waste that the government's going through. Could you imagine that? Oh, hell, all the golden toilets that are in the Congress are going to be knocked out the first day.
But I think I'm running out of gas. I don't know about you, John.
yeah, I was like, we're going like 1 hour and 18 minutes at this point. So
I think we should wrap it up. And John, you should hit that button.
yeah, so you want to stop it then?
Yeah.
All right.